What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 27Q alongside that man right there, two-time Super Bowl champ, number 27, former running back Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. We appreciate everyone keeping us locked in, and we've got a lot of stuff to get into, a lot of topics, flags in the NFL, week 5 recap, another win for Big Blue. There's a slate of fights this weekend. What the hell's going on with Crawford and Spence? Maybe Tank and Garcia, Adrian Granados. We're hoping to get him on B in about 10 to 15 minutes. Of course, he fought Connor Benn. Ben got pinched with the substance, so the Chris Eubank fight was off this past weekend. So we'll kind of get a perspective from a fighter that fought Ben. And look, I mean, when that happens, typically the first thing is you want a rematch. So we got a lot of boxing to talk today and tomorrow as well. But as always, how are you and how was your weekend?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal, man. We took one on the channel on Friday night at the high school level. Again, we absolutely should have won at 17-14. Is now hunting me as it, just like the hunt the 18-0 Patriots. The 17-14 is now hunting me, man. We had a game we were supposed to win. Didn't block very well, man. We didn't do the little stuff very well, so we ended up losing the game. Middle school football was off. North Carolina Giants, 12U, 8U, and I think the 14 and under players, they all won big. So interesting week for myself, man. My Giants are 4-1. I couldn't ask for a better start than that. My guys, we came out there playing football. They finding a way to win these games. There's nothing pretty, I tell you that. It's nothing beautiful. No big time 350, 450 yards, 500 yards of offense, and crazy 6-7 sack games and blah, blah, blah. It's not that at all. It's kind of ugly. Got penalties, not many turnovers. For instance, Daniel Jones, he just went out and went 21 for 27 with 217s with no picks, no touchdowns.
Efficient.
Right, but we won an ugly game, man.
Listen, you called. I did not see them going over to the pond, Green Bay. But as that game was unfolding, even they were see, in years past, and this is not even when you played with Coughlin, under Coughlin, the last 5 or 6 years, Judge, Shermer, McAdoo, man, that squad is down 14-17. I'm sorry. They're rolling over like a bunch of dogs, man. They're done. And even Mark Sanchez brought up a great point during the broadcast, but yet they fought. And Jones, Jones is a gamer, man. And he's starting to win me over as, if you bring him back, I'm going to be okay with that. Saquon looks incredible. You had no-name players step up big time. Slayton stepped up big time with the opportunities. The defense made the stops late on 3rd and short and 4th and short. And I think that's as big as a win for the Giants, I would say, since they went on the road to open up 2016 and beat Dallas. That's absolutely. You're talking 6-7 years, man. That's a big time friggin' win. And it's the culture. You called me right after. I was waiting for the call. It's all about the head coaching, the culture, and buying in. And that's what these guys are doing right now.
It's your environment, man. Like, you change. Like, when I was playing with the Giants, man, like, we all, like, the whole organization was close, man, from the people upstairs, you know what I'm saying, the people downstairs, just everybody that had their certain operations. Like, we were good, man. Like, we knew everybody's name. I go sit for lunch, you know, I will eat, you know, with Ashley and Jen. Sometimes, you know, sit down and eat with Mr. Mayor at times. Like, we were all like there, like everyone was around, and like it just made a whole family, like a whole family thing. And that's what I felt when I went there. For like during training camp, everybody's together, everybody's in there, you know, with each other eating, and guys are jacked up on the field out there competing against each other. And it was just a great feeling to be around, you know, some competitive nature, man. And I like what I'm seeing, man. I'm still sticking to my 12 wins, man. Got to go get it.
Listen, they've got some winnable games. I mean, Baltimore's going to be a tough game. They're already 5.5, 6-point dogs at home, but the way they've been playing, you kind of
they had us underdogs before the damn game was even over.
Yeah,
like,
the future's bet. Yeah, it's a lot of it's the recency bias. Seattle coming up, Jacksonville coming up, some winnable games. I mean, look, in a perfect world, 6-2, you know, 5-3, 7-1. That's I think you would write home with that. But the one thing that impressed me the most again, they just didn't panic. And Jones is such a gamer, man. And that defense, right? Feast or famine sometimes, especially against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. The Giants are still not playing with a full deck. Listen, I'm not going to say they're going to be world beaters, but I said this a month ago with you, and I said it in tongue in cheek. Just get me to October, as crazy as it sounds, and I still want meaningful football as a fan. And 4-1 right now, I didn't see it coming. I didn't. I would say 2-3, 3-2 best, 4-1 coming from behind. Daniel Jones has the most fourth quarter comebacks this season out of all the quarterbacks out there.
So I want to ask you, Rich, you
Yeah.
had 3, you know that you could have said 2-3,
Yes.
whatever you could have said. Just look at the teams that we played at the beginning outside of these two, Green Bay and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like outside of those 2 wins, like before the season started, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only ones. But the other teams, I see us beating them.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of a Chicago. I mean,
No.
so I think 4-1 is about right. I think the way we played against Dallas, they got after our offensive line. They got after Daniel Jones. They made, they had him scrambling. I think 5 or 6 sacks with 22 or 23 or 24, hurries.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, you beat anybody playing that type of, football on defense, when you can't block anybody.
Yeah.
So good, I think we get that one back and, and we block it up a little bit better. And I think that game would be different. Cooper Rush, we never put any pressure on it. We never see what he can do under pressure. We never see him roll and throw the ball on the run to get away from pressure. We never seen him do that because we didn't put any pressure on him. He just sat back there and made cakes and completed passes.
Has Daniel Jones, if they keep winning, then obviously it kind of screws with the draft position. We talk about the quarterbacks that are coming out. Daniel Jones not tied to this new regime, head coach, GM, but they might be stuck between a rock and a hard place, but it could be a good dilemma to have because, again, I gave you the numbers before the season started. I said 3,800 yards, I believe 23 touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, 10 to 12 picks, and not turn the ball over. Those numbers right at this moment, he might have very pedestrian numbers, but if they're winning 6, 7, 8, 9 games and he's playing well, maybe have a couple heartbreak losses because the defense gives up a couple plays, and I know it's kind of spitballing. Do you bring him back? Well,
this is coming up on this is 3rd year, correct?
This is it. After this year, remember they never signed him to that extension from his rookie deal.
Well, I thought his rookie deal was a 5-year deal, though.
He's petitioning for a job. They don't have to bring him back after this year, and that's the talk. What do you do with Daniel Jones? Saquon's a different story for another day, but what do you do with Jones?
What do you do with Jones? I mean, I don't know. And you got Action Jackson is also playing his deck over in Baltimore, so he'll be out on the streets, but all the Giants will willing to pay somebody $300 million to come be a quarterback.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you.
I mean, I think if Daniel Jones win 9-10, games, I think you got to hear him out at least a 1-year deal at a time.
That's what I was thinking. That way. That's what I was thinking.
You bring it back for a year, see how he do. He does well. You go get 10 wins, 11 wins, get closer. Then you either give him a contract, depending on his numbers and what he did, and you go from there.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much my line of thinking. I just think he's a gamer, and I might not be in awe of him like I was with Eli, but the kid plays, man. He's tough. And this, there's something to be said when you play hurt and you play injured and you're making plays and you're scrambling and you're running around and you're bleeding and you're battered and you're bruised. That wins over your teammates. Now, I don't know how much of the sway that wins over when it comes to the brass, the head coach and the GM and ownership, but you got guys that say, hey, man, I'm in the foxhole with you. I want to go to battle with you.
But where do you go, though? If Daniel Jones isn't your quarterback coming into 2023 football season, where do you go for quarterback? Who do you find? Who do you bring in? Okay, you got a new regime pretty much. They'll be in their 2nd year. And the team, quite frankly, in my opinion, who's going to have a winning record and have a chance to compete in the tournament, right? They're going to have an opportunity to compete in the tournament. So who do you draft or who do you bring in as your quarterback to kind of stay getting that wild card or quite
Yeah.
possibly could win a division. Like where do you go?
I don't know. I mean, who's to say what happens with Garoppolo in San Fran? Darnold's done. Mayfield's done. Wentz is done. I mean, his own head coach had to clarify his comment,
Man,
throwing him under the bus. Or
I'll take Garoppolo out of the three you just named. I mean,
yeah,
if that's going to be the case,
if it's all the same, sure. Exactly.
I think Garoppolo is better than the other two you named.
Agree 100%. I think it might be one of those off seasons where we're going to wait to see what happens with Lamar Jackson. Think about this. Denver was banking on getting Rodgers. And then Rodgers basically said, I'm going to stay put because Rodgers gets what he wants. That looks like Seattle fleeced Denver right now, right? If you look at how Russ is playing compared to how what's his name is playing, Geno Smith. So again, it's yet to be seen. I guess we have to let it play out, and he's got to play. Listen, he's got to play at a good level, a high level, and win some games. And then I think they're going to have a tough decision to make. With Eli's last couple of years, they saw the way he threw the ball, and Gettleman was sold on the fact that we're not really going to fix the line. Eli can still sling it. And then look what happened, right? I mean, you wasted the last 2-3 years of his career behind a really shoddy offensive line. So Jones has been playing well. I mean, you can't take that away from him.
Absolutely not. The kid is showing toughness week after week. He's been on his ass week after week, and he continues to getting up and he's battling. Hurt, cut up. Is his stats amazing? No, his stats aren't amazing, but he's not losing the football game for you.
Correct.
With a mixture of him, let's go with Saquon. He was 13 for 70, 5.4 yards a carry. As a running back in the NFL, that's great numbers. That's great numbers. I think the defense is playing well. Ugly offensively. The defense is playing pretty good. They have some laps from time to time, but they're still getting out there and they're stopping the opposing team from scoring more points than what the offense scores.
Third down efficiencies playing very well. They're tackling. They're not making mistakes. And the breaks that have gone against them in years past, how many late field goals would they get beat by, right? Those things are now, they're being pushed wide, or they're not going through, or muff punts are going their way, the ball's bouncing their way, and that happens. Look, last night's a perfect example. Last year, the Raiders, they were winning all those close games last year, right? Everything was going their way. Not so much this year. It's season to season, but we have a ton of NFL, as I mentioned, to kind of get into. We'll get into it in a couple moments, but we will switch gears a little bit. Talk a little boxing, and we've got the welterweight contender, Adrian Granados, joining us for a couple moments. Adrian, Rich Quinones, Brandon Jacobs. What's going on, pal?
What's up, brother? How's it going?
Hey, everything is going well. I don't know if you're smiling because more Connor Benn news comes out, or it looks like maybe you're just getting ready to go to the gym and get some rounds in. I got to ask you, that news breaks. Should have happened over the weekend, the fight against Eubank. You fought Connor. You hear news of that with the banned substance and whatnot and testing positive. What goes through your mind as a fighter, knowing that you fought him, you were in the war with him, and all of a sudden now the guy gets pinched?
I think I wasn't too surprised. I noticed with his body, it didn't seem natural. I'm not taking anything away from his work ethic. It looks like he really likes working out and he's really into the gym. But once you start taking stuff like that, I mean, it's cheating, it's cheating. I'm known for being higher energetic fighter myself. And I've always had it because of my work ethic, in the fight, I outboxed him. I made him, work harder than he ever had to try to get to me. And he never died down. That's what I was noticing. He never died down. The energy was there the whole time. And only when I buzzed him with some shots, maybe that was what slowed him down a bit. But the energy level was really high. I just take it as, man, you couldn't hurt me or do anything while you were on something. So why don't we do a clean tested rematch, and then let's see what you're really about.
So Adrian, if I'm here, right? By the way, I'm Brandon, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
So when you guys fought, so you said he never died down. So you think it could have been a chance then that his blood was a little bit dirty, you think?
There's a possibility, you know, like I said, I don't want to take anything away from him because I know he trains hard and he was really big on his training. But like I said, in the body type and the muscles, you could just tell it didn't seem natural in my eyes. But more than anything, yeah, I'm known to outlast everybody. Like even like the top notch guys, you know, when I fought Sean Porter, fought Robert Easter, you know,
Yep.
Felix Diaz. The only one was Danny Garcia, and that was I actually had COVID during that camp. I was actually not trying to take that fight, but there was a lot involved with that fight that didn't let me get out of it. But either way, that's no excuse. Danny Garcia is a great champion. But back to what I meant is, conditioning wise, like I'm known to outlast everybody. And with him, that's why I was on my toes the whole fight. The whole fight, I moved, and made him miss, made him pay. It was a close fight. It was definitely a close fight. Probably not one of my vintage performances. People were very upset because I chose to box. But I knew he was green, so I knew he didn't have the boxing skills to probably last with me. And I mean, I felt like I exposed him with that. You know, I made him miss a lot and made him look silly a lot of times. And even, like I said, the tantrum he threw at the end, I kind of took it almost like roid rage.
The last 10 seconds or so when he was kind of egging you on the fight a little bit, the last drive. Where, you know, when the news came down, and to me, it seems as though Eddie Hearn kind of sat on that failed test for a couple of weeks. Like I would assume, or I would wonder that I would probably want to release the B sample right away. I mean, kind of walk us through it, testing out with Vada as a fighter. How does that process work?
I mean, I was always registered with Vada. And
Sorry,
I was always no, it's all good. I was always registered with VADA, so I mean they were able to. They knew all my schedule. You know, the when I was at the gym, when I was at home, they knew they asked for a schedule. You know, where they can just pop up on you whenever. And I mean, I just unfortunately they never did. But I mean, I was ready for it whenever. And I mean, that's why too. I think I remember with Connor Benn, he kept dropping out of the WBC rankings for that reason, because I believe he never really registered with them.
Correct. And that's why they took him out. And then I know the first time around, didn't he have COVID when you guys were initially supposed to fight?
Yeah, something. Yeah. That something had happened, but yeah, that's why I don't know. Either way, I would love another shot at him. I already did one interview, and I'll do it with you guys. A message to Mr. Hearn. I'm sorry, he didn't get the Adrian Granados he wanted. But like I said, I knew what they wanted. I knew what they were expecting. And that's why I decided to throw a curveball and just kind of give them a boxing lesson. And that's what I did. It's just, I guess for the fans, they weren't too excited with that because, they had to watch a boxing match instead of a blood and guts war that they usually get out of Adrian Granados.
It's a different kind of boxing fan now, Adrian. I don't want these fans who like who you think in your mind want to see these sparks and all of this excitement, and you in 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, you can't talk, right? So you got to be smart sometimes in boxing. It's guys that know boxing, women that know boxing, and there's guys that's casual fans, and there's women that's casual fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's nothing like having the skill of boxing and being able to move your way around the ring. So if you went in, anytime you go in to box somebody and you box them out, but you tough enough to go do this bang, this one bang fest is cool. But being able to showcase your skills is always better.
Right. No, and then that's why too, I respect all the fans that actually told me they feel like I won that fight. They feel like I outboxed them and that I, made them look novice. And I thought that's what I did too. Even too at that actually adds on to like I noticed like when I fought Robert Easter, it was a war. Like, we went at it and I freaking I outlanded him by like 180 punches. I had better percentages and I worked my ass off for that fight. Like I was banged up after the fight. I remember I was swollen everywhere. And I got the same exact scorecard as I did with the Connor Benn fight, 7-3, 8-2, 10-0. So I mean, with the Connor Benn fight, I was like, you know what? I'm a box this one. And with Connor Benn, I came out clean. I went out that night, had a good time. Like I enjoyed England. And I mean, I even told myself, I'm like, well, man, if I'm gonna keep getting these types of decisions, I'm like, I might as well come out clean, so I can at least, like you said, come out,
Yeah,
last longer in my career, and then not only that, not get as much damage.
yeah.
But
So
you also know, right? It's, and you notice with the judging, how everything is so subjective, right? What are we looking at? Quality or quantity of punches, right? You got that Mexican style fighter, right? He's going to come forward all the time. He's going to be aggressive. Maybe he's going to push the pace a little bit, get those early rounds. And all of a sudden the feeling out process, right? The ebb and flow of the swing rounds. How are we scoring it? So it's almost like damned if you do, kind of damned if you don't. When you really think
Exactly.
about it, right? I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, would you ever consider, would you go to 140?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm actually I'm gonna try a new nutritionist and a new diet plan to actually get that back to 140. I actually should have been at 140 this whole time. My big win with Amir Imam, that was in 2016 and that was at 140. And immediately after, I had a bunch of offers to fight at 140, but I was pretty much blacklisted by Don King. They wanted the rematch. We offered a rematch initially and they accepted. And then 2 days later, like he took it off saying that they didn't need it. And then obviously when I pulled the upset, then they wanted it and it cost them more money, but we ended up getting better offers. And it was a little mismanagement on my management side. They were, they were still talking with him, and I even told my manager at the time, like, stop talking to Don King. Like, I don't want nothing to do with him. Like I've been a fan of the sport all my life. I'm like, I've seen what he's done to so many bigger names. I'm like, what do you think he's gonna do to my little butt? I'm gonna be shelved for years. So I told him to stop talking to him. But the fact that he was still flirting with the idea for a rematch, Don King pulled his strings, and I'm not gonna put any names out there, but pretty much, yeah, I was blacklisted for about a year, and it was terrible. And then, like, once I did get a fight, it was with Adrian Broner, and initially the weight was 142, and then he changed it to 147. Then after I fought him, I was trying to get back to 140, and then they offered me Sean Porter. And I'm like, nah, dude, like you like I went from a small welterweight to now a real welterweight, like a big welterweight. And yeah, after that, it just kind of like they just kept coming and kept coming, and I won't even lie, it was me too. I kind of was too young and too green to, like, I was too willing to fight anybody. And I wish,
yeah, man.
looking back, I wish I would have been a little smarter on my choices.
You definitely got some nice names there. That you've been in the ring with.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, Sean Porter, Javier Fortuna. Like, you've been in there with some real guys who
Yeah,
who,
for sure. I'm just, what's frustrating is, a lot of them is just I haven't gotten the decision, or I mean, even like with the Fortuna incident, he dove himself out the ring, and he didn't really hurt himself. He knew what was coming. That was actually, and the fight with Fortuna, that was at 140, and it showed there like how big I am. I'm really a 140. Like, I could have been a world champion. I should have been a world champion there years ago. I should have been in the mix with Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, Jose Cepeda, like all those guys. I should have been there with them, but
Lopez.
at the time, my management was telling me all the money was at 147, and I was just young and green, so I should have known better. I mean, a lot of big name fighters have made a lot of money at 140, and there's always money at that weight as well.
Yeah, that fight you mentioned too, that was the no contest. When you fought Broner, that was in Cincinnati, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So right away when you're fighting someone in their backyard, you're giving up a couple rounds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's always the issue. But it's actually funny, out of all three judges, the Ohio judge is the one who judged it for me.
What right now for your money, what is, as a fan, because Brandon and I talk about this, what's the sexiest division in your estimation right now?
Man, I always thought it was 147. But a lot of guys were just kind of like picking and choosing who they want. I would say it'd be maybe 135 and 140 now, just because they're actually going for each other, Like 140, they're mixing it up. We got a couple. Who's that? Cepeda's fighting Prograis.
Yep.
Ramirez is fighting someone else too. They are fighting the best, and then obviously these guys, the new crew of Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, they're all calling each other out, so they should be fighting each other soon, hopefully. And I like it. I think that's what the sport needs. I feel like, we were a dying sport, and we somewhat still are. But if we start getting the best fighting the best, then we should get a resurgence of boxing fans.
Well, yeah, we always talk about that. Rich and I also have a conversation about this heavyweight saga as well. He knew I had to bring this up. We asked all these fighters that. I myself think that Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight ever to put on gloves. There's no question about it.
I would agree with you, man. That guy's awesome. He does it all. He's such a big heavyweight, and he can move, and he's fast, and he's something else.
So,
and he's entertaining.
Yeah.
And we still don't know what's going to go on with him. And the interesting thing is Wilder fights right this weekend. He's a big a favorite fighting this weekend, and he's essentially, to me, that's going to be a glorified sparring session because his opponent was basically his sparring partner for the last year plus. And what Fury showed against Wilder, because he was a flawed champ, right, is that you go to the body or you back him up, right? I mean, Wilder does not like to fight off his back foot and move backwards. Fury, where Brandon and I go back and forth, Brandon, and I can appreciate it, the size of Fury, right? The stature of Fury and moving around and the power and the skill. It's hard for me to dismiss the 60s, the 70s, and to some extent the 80s with some of the heavyweights, right? We can't have that magical, mystical match because it's never going to happen. But I still give credence to those guys. I also look at their body of work compared to Fury's body of work. That's all again, Adrian, I will die on that hill.
So wait, so you say, obviously we can't put these guys in the ring against each other.
Of course.
The styles are so far apart, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you go off one with the best attributes, which is Tyson Fury? That's the best. Now, those guys are little, like they were all smaller fighters. They all play defense with their heads. Like it's a different ball game, man.
Attributes I get, and you can't dismiss that. But for my money, if I had the magical fight, it would be Fury versus Holmes.
That's not a bad fight. I'm gonna I don't know, maybe because I am a big fan of Tyson Fury, I'm gonna have to just agree with Brandon just because I just see it's just you never seen a big heavyweight like that can do it all like that.
Fair point.
Usually bigger heavyweights like that, like they're going to knock you out and that's it. They're just a big brute. Where he can tap you, he can box you, he can move you, he can make you miss, make you pay.
Right.
And he can take a punch. I mean, he could take a punch. When he got laid out by Wilder that last round in that first fight, I could have sworn he was dead. And he resurrected and came back and finished the fight. Like that was amazing. He showed heart.
That's the risk to reward, right? We're gonna see it Saturday night with Wilder, right?
Yeah, of course.
I think a Wilder in shape. beat the rest of those heavyweights easy. It's me. I think in shape, he put it all on the line and go get it. Work as hard as he possibly can. I think he can do that.
He gets a win Saturday. It maybe sets up something down the road, right? In line. Do we want to see another Fury and Wilder?
No, I want to see Fury Usyk. That's
that's the one I was gonna say. We got to see Usyk. I think that's an interesting fight. I think with Usyk's speed, it may give Fury some problems. Just because Fury is quick, but Usyk is quicker. So I mean, I think that's the fight to be made right now. I think in a co-main event would be great. Wilder with Joshua, I think would be a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
So but I mean that's what I like about these heavyweights too. That a lot of guys are fighting each other.
Right, and that's what's missing in other divisions, right? And if you go 15, 20 years ago, when the middleweights were fighting the middleweights, the welters were fighting the welters, the heavies were all clashing. I want to go back to something you said before. Your last fight was obviously against Connor Benn, and the inactivity, right? Is it just that there's not a fight to be made right now for you?
No, I took a break. Okay. It's been I'm closing in on 18 years now boxing. So I took my first actual a year off. It's actually going to be a year now. And yeah, no, I'll be back. I'm actually just starting to go back to the gym and starting a new diet. Like I said, I needed it for my body, needed it for my mind. And like Brandon said, I'm not trying to retire, a vegetable or anything like that. I want to have my full foundation with me, and my brain still together. I always said that to myself when I got into boxing. That's why I actually had planned to retire about 35. But the advancements in the way athletes take care of their bodies now, and with the medicine, and we have all the extra stuff, where it's oxygen chambers, ice baths, the ice chambers, they what do they have, the new electromagnetic machines, and all types of advancements in science that I think maybe I could go a couple years more now, and that all has to do with my body. I'm going to listen to my body and listen to my, my brain, make sure that I have all my wits. And my only dream was just to become a world champion. And I think I still have the capabilities of it. So, we're going to give it I say it's my fourth quarter of my career, and I've always been a clutch player. So gonna try to close strong.
Hey, I'm curious. Hey, if we see Tank and Garcia, and Brandon and I, we're going to talk a little more about this later on in the show, but how do you handicap that? You look at Tank and the power, you look at Garcia. Garcia's talented, man. He can flat out box.
Yeah,
and
that's why.
I think you might see him down the road because he's still filling out at 147.
Oh,
Maybe.
definitely. Yeah, no, he's still skinny. Like he hasn't full. You can tell he hasn't filled out completely. I mean, he's still young too. So I see him giving Tank a lot of problems. I think that's a good fight. Tank was actually losing the fight with, who was it, Mario Barrios, until he actually touched him. So I feel like it would almost play the same role. I think Ryan would probably be outboxing and beating Tank, but Tank is a smart fighter. I will say this, and he sets up his shots. So he would be setting them up for something big. And if he does catch Ryan, then I think he drops Ryan and he hurts him too as well. So that's a fight I would love to see, just like the rest of the boxing world.
And I agree with you there, Adrian. I think Ryan he's tall, 5'11", rangy, fast, strong. I definitely think he can give Tank a lot of problems. But if Ryan isn't smart, try to let this guy get close to him and get inside of him, it could be a long, it could also be a long night for him. I got to go, just thinking Ryan going to be smart enough to box this man and use his attributes and, to his advantage. And I think Ryan won a decision.
Yeah. I think that's a good that's a good choice, I believe. I think it'd be the same, because I think too Ryan respects Gervonta's power. So
No
I
doubt.
think he wouldn't want to get into that slug match or put himself in a position to get caught.
Yeah.
As you can tell, see with me, Adrian, I'm all about boxing, man. I'm all about boxing, creating space, countering, fighting, countering, doing retreat, moving the ring, just using your advantage. That's me. I love boxing for those reasons. Now these tough guys, these fast cast, smart cast type fights that they have out, is entertaining as shit now. Don't get me wrong, but I'm all for the boxer. So that's why I always pick boxers in fights.
For sure.
And again, I appreciate all of that. I appreciate that. But hey, man, I'll take these Mexican and these Latin fighters coming forward any day of the week and taking a lot of shots, right? And a lot of body shots and
yeah,
the risk to reward, action packed. The Garcia thing is interesting because with De La Hoya, and De La Hoya kind of showed his hand a little bit, talking about, we don't take 50-50 fights, right? So we always talk about that risk to reward, so to speak. I go back and I look at your resume: Easter, Garcia, Porter, Broner, Solomon, Kermit, Citron. I mean, come on, man. You're fighting a who's who. You're not ducking anyone. You have to take.
Yeah, that's why I was I won't even lie. I was kind of I mean, they even call me a throwback fighter a lot of times, with the promoters and stuff like that. And that's why, because I just wanted to show, the public. I was hoping, to come out with more wins in a lot of those fights. And I know there are a lot of controversial losses. I just kind of wanted to show, you can still be that guy that could fight everybody and show that you can beat everyone. And I mean, The only 3 losses I'll really take is Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, and Frankie Gomez. All the other ones, like I'll sit down with you and tell me what you think, because I've got an argument, I think, for all those other losses, and most of the public agrees with me.
That's amazing. A loss, oh, that could have potentially been a win, or I should say, a win here and there. Now all of a sudden, you know, the bigger, right? It changes.
I would have been, yeah. I would have been a number 1 contender. I would have gotten a world. I still haven't gotten a world title shot. Never gotten a world title shot with all those names I fought. My biggest thing is that I beat the number 1 fighter in the world and I never got a title shot like that. How did that happen?
Yeah, it sucks, man. You know, boxing, man. Rich and I was talking about this last week as well. I think the only thing I hate about the boxing game is that when a guy loses a fight, if the wrong guy loses a fight or two, he's done with the opportunity of the world title. You know, I think as long as you're competing and as long as you're out there, I think you should still have opportunity. Like, they really write you off. If you're not one of the household names that lose to another household name and just get caught, which is possible in boxing, you can be 10 times better than the guy you're fighting, and he throw that lucky looping right hand and catch you as you're coming in and put you down. That's a loss, right? And they never look at you the same. And I think that's the only thing I hate about boxing.
Yeah, for sure.
It happened. I mean, we had Jesse Hart. Jesse Hart was basically a contender, and then, you know, he's with Top Rank. He had to fight against Smith. He got beat up in that fight, and then boom, Top Rank lets him go, right? And kind of had to climb back up to get his 8 rounders. You know, I don't know. So you're in Chicago, right?
Yes, I am.
Are you a Bears fan?
Oh, bear down all day.
Well, we just kicked you guys' ass last week.
Oh no, we're off to a rough start. We can't score. We cannot score. Like we'll get down the field and everything. We just can't score.
There's drive killers, man. There's penalties and most of all turnovers. You get down in the green red zone and turn the ball over, and you get down there, you know, while you're doing pretty good. Like, you just drove the field 40, 50 yards, easy, getting first downs, and now you get down is getting more to be more important because you want to score in territory and you get a holding call. You know, you get a block in the back, and that just drive killers, man.
You call it. You called it. I mean, that's why it's so frustrating. I mean, it's definitely a love and hate relationship being a Bears fan.
You a fan of Justin Fields?
I am. I'm glad. I'm actually glad that we finally got an African-American quarterback. You know, it felt like for years they just wanted to go old school, and, you know, the throw, the natural thrower. I wanted somebody with ability, you know, somebody with athletic ability. He hasn't been, you know, doing too well this season. He's making a couple of mistakes, but I mean, I think it shows he definitely he has the talent too. It's just got to get it together. That's it.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine with the more snaps on his belt. You know, just keep yourself in the right company. Just always try to stay around somebody you can steal a nugget or two from. You know, find a way to hang out with the Tom Brady's of the world. You know, guys like that who can give him tremendous, you know, great advice on furthering his career, at the highest level possible.
What I'm liking, what I'm seeing from him as an athlete is when he's making those mistakes, he's not cracking. Like, you can see it in his face. Like, he's still focused and he's still trying to win the game. So, you know, that's definitely a positive, you know.
That's being a gamer, right? It's like getting knocked down, and then all of a sudden you get back up and you knock the guy out in the 10th or 11th round.
Right, exactly. Shoot, I've had a couple fights where I've been dropped a couple of times and I come back and
right. I mean, that's the sport of boxing. Listen, I know we're tight. Last one for me, and I don't know if Brandon had another one, but last one for me. Shakur Stevenson, if you were, quote, managing him, 130, 135, what's your thoughts on Shakur?
He's got to go 35 now. He's got to go 35. He's another one who's a young kid. You know, he obviously didn't make the weight the last fight. Just, you know, I mean, you got the belt there already. Move on, become a champion in the next one. I think Shakur has all the talent in the world. And I mean, I you know, get him in the mix with that hot new 135.
I think that pressure is a little bit too hot for him. That's just me. I think he could be the future boxer if he's moved properly. To put him at 35 so soon with a lot of those guys, I mean, they all got similarly around the same age. But as a manager, I've managed Kendall Hope. You know, I've worked very close with Pat Lynch and guys of that nature. as far as a managing game. I'll take him to 140 and fight the lower tier 140 guys until those guys are ready to move to 140, because he has to get stronger. He has to get stronger, and he needs the space to grow in order to get stronger. He don't have that tremendous knockout power. He's a great boxer. He can move the ring and box and land, and he punch him off. But his knockout, his knockout ratio is very low, and I think he needs to be able to add muscle and be able to get stronger in order to knock out more guys. And with him being able to do that, I don't see him fighting 35 alone. That's why I said just go to 40 and make, $2 million, for 3 or 4 fights. And these guys like Tank and Ryan is coming to 140. Now, you've been there fighting against heavier guys already. Now you got these guys at your fingertips. Their first fight is you in that division. They don't have the luxury that you have to move into 140 and fight the lower tier 140. Is it going to be a risk? Absolutely. Waking up in the morning and going to the boxing gym is also a risk. But, that's kind of how I would move him. I don't think he would be
honestly, Brandon, I love that strategy. I think that's a great strategy.
I think just throwing him out in 35 right now, you got Garcia, you got Tank out there, There's
a lot of dogs there, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's guys out there, Devin Haney, Cambosis, guys like that who got some real punching power who could be a problem for a guy like Shakur. I think if he's moved right, he'd be the best thing for boxing. If it's done right.
For sure.
Yeah. We don't agree a lot on this show.
But that's good. That's what makes conversation.
It makes for very good conversation. We'll never agree on the heavyweights, but I do
never ever. I guess.
Never. No, man. He just, he's. I don't know. I don't know if he's on Fury's payroll. I haven't. To be honest, I haven't dug through. I haven't dug through that. He's gonna crush me when you're off the air. I haven't dug through it yet.
I just see what the man has.
I got you.
His ability, size and ability makes everything.
Rich just giving you a hard time, Brandon.
I know it. He's going.
I love it though.
That's my guy, man. All right, Adrian, man, we appreciate a couple moments, pal. But look, man, you got an open invite. Let us know, down the road what the future plans are, and just keep at it, man. And listen, at the end of the day, you fight the fights that you can make, right? I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, no, definitely. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on here. Definitely, I'm excited to be coming back. This time around, I'm calling it Adrian Tigre 2.0. We'll go a little harder this time, and I think I got a couple more Cinderella nights out of me. So definitely looking forward to, like I said, I just want to get that world title shot before I retire.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Well, good luck. Take care, that, man. And I hope you achieve everything you want to.
Thank you. God bless you both, guys. Thank you so much.
You got it. Take care.
Peace.
All right. Appreciate it, man. So there you have it. Some good stuff, man. Couple minutes with Adrian there. And that's good stuff, man. The more I think about what you were saying with Shakur, it's making sense. And I'm trying to put my manager hat on, even though it's hard for me to do. But I
could understand it. Like as a fan, you probably don't see what I'm saying.
But the more you say it and the more I listen and not cut you off, it's starting to make sense to me. But I don't think they're going to go that route.
I don't think they'll go that route either. I think they'll go fight 35 and try to king it and then move up. I think he'll try to king it. I just hope, it goes well. And I think the guy's the future of boxing, no question about it.
No,
I just want him to be moved right. It's a lot of administrative decisions ruin fighters' career at times, so who knows what's the right one or what's the wrong one. I just know he needs to get stronger. And add muscle could be something big for him. I mean, you don't have any room to add muscle when you're fighting at 35. You really don't,
No, it's a good point. Like we talk about with Garcia filling out a little more to 147, right? You're going to get stronger. The way Tank's built, I mean, he puts on too much muscle mass that it doesn't help.
We're at 140 in no time.
Yeah. No, that's
Rich. Yeah. What's happening, man, with this?
What's up?
I want to bring this up before we get off air. This Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford saga. Like, what we got going on? Like I know Bud agreed to the split. I know Bud agreed to I think it's the rematch is the thing that's causing an issue with getting this fight signed, sealed, and delivered, where people like myself can buy my plane ticket in my hotel room, my damn ringside seat to the fight. Come on, guys, we gotta get this shit done, man. Get it done.
I don't know. I bet you there's something in the language, the verbiage in that deal that one of the parties are just, they have to be privy to it, but they're just not on the same page. And see, here's the problem I have with this now. If this fight falls through the cracks and we learn it's because Earl wanted, or Earl's camp wanted X, Y, and Z, then you know what's going to happen. Everyone's going to sit there and say, Spence didn't want that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I
it
hate
could go the
that.
other way with Crawford. The same thing. He don't want Earl. He don't want that. He don't want that Spence smoke. Like, come on, man.
Bud want to fight.
I know, but I'm
I know
playing,
that for a fact. Bud
yeah,
wants to fight.
I'm playing devil's advocate, and I think people are thinking that. I mean, this could be a historic fight, man. It can make a lot of money, a lot of dinero. It can get a lot of eyeballs, and we got two of the best. Have at it, but yet. And I don't want to speculate. I don't want to sit there and say maybe it's Spence's camp, maybe it's Crawford. But I can tell you this, B, if it's more of Spence's camp and the fight goes by the wayside, everyone's going to, I'm telling you right now, he didn't want the smoke.
What do you do though, Rich? If you're either one of those fighters and this fight falls to the wayside, what's your move? Like, what are you? They both going up to the next division, which is 154. They both going there, so you can't dodge each other at the whole other weight class. You won't be able to get that done, right? I see Crawford calling out a Charlo at 54 if he don't get this fight with Errol.
I don't know, man. It's a great question. If I'm both these guys, I have to get this fight done. I have to, because then we're going to get into the so-and-so dodge this guy jumped, this guy went up a weight class. Here you go. This fight should have made 3 fights go. You know, apparently, I think Steven Espinoza was saying there's misinformation, right? But the fight's on track. Well, okay, it's October 11th, which means that fight is essentially a month and a week away. If it's November 19th, let's just assume it's November 19th. Now, you know, these guys are in pretty good shape. We're talking about camp wise. You have to physically and mentally be ready. I mean, if anything, this fight, I believe this fight the ink has to dry. I mean, you can't let this go into October 31st, can you?
No, and you can't have their date. To be honest with you, I mean, I know they probably don't care about the fan, but you can't sign and fight October 31st and expect, you know, people to be ready to,
19th.
like myself, get tickets and all of this shit to be able to make it to your fight. You know, you guys got to get this thing done so people can make their plans.
Yeah.
It can't be that much of a difference. So why they want to make the fight?
I don't think it's November 19th. Not to cut you off. I don't think it's going to be November 19th. I don't. I believe the fight will happen. It might happen 2023.
January, February-ish, around there.
Right.
I hope not, but December at the latest. If they can, shake it out and get everything figured out, man. I do think the fight need to happen. There's just nothing left at 47 for either one of those guys if this fight doesn't happen. I don't see who else is there. But you got Keith Thurman still talking, blowing smoke, trying to get a good fight. Outside of him, Danny Garcia's moved up to 154. He's fighting there now. He fought Benavidez there a couple months ago.
But that's why you have to have this fight. That's why you have to have this fight.
You have to have the fight at 47.
Because there's, like you said, there is no plan B, C, or D. Both of them have gone on the record and said this is what they want. But what does it come down to?
Come down to money. I mean, and I think Bud has already agreed to the first fight split being 60-40. Yeah. And the winner of the first fight should get the 60-40 split for the rematch, whether they want to lose.
Look, I'm at the point where I don't care if it's December or January, get it done. I don't want to be talking 8 months from now saying, yeah, look what happened with Spence and Crawford. It never transpired. That's not what the sport needs. I mean, you look at this weekend, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but I mean, this is by the way, so real quick, Connor Benn's reportedly now being investigated over claims he previously tested positive with that drug that I butcher in another drug test prior to the test. I mean, he might be, you're talking 4-year ban, if anything. But listen, you've
Connor
got
Benn need to go get him a 9 to 5 and get right and make money for his family. Because with another hit, besides the one he took before the fight, the last
4 years, your career's over.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, he's not a, he's what, late, what, 36, 7, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that would be it for him, no doubt.
Pretty much.
You've got Haney and Cambosis. You've got Shields and Marshall, which I think is going to be a slugfest. You got Mayer and Alicia Bumgarner. You've got Wilder fighting, and then I'm just pulling up the calendar right in front of me. Lomachenko is fighting.
What tomato can he fight?
I think he's fighting Jermaine Ortiz, October 29th.
That's a decent opponent.
And then you got.
It is. Jermaine Ortiz
what
is
I
a
was
good
going to
fighter.
say. I was going to say. Then you have your guy, Jake Paul, fighting in Arizona.
Don't listen. Don't fucking antagonize me with fucking Jake Paul, Rich. You gotta be shitting me, man. Come on, man. Don't do that to me. I like Jake Paul. Don't get me wrong. He can sell a fight, right? But I just think, man, and I know he got these followers and this stuff, man. Me being so deep in the boxing and seeing how some of these guys struggle, who's been through the ringer.
I know.
Not getting opportunity to make that type of bread. It just bothers me, man. That's all. That's it. I know it's nobody's fault, but it just bugs me.
I wasn't trying to egg you on. I was being honest.
You did. You got me though.
We'll get into the NFL tomorrow. I want to get into Cambosis and Haney. I also wanted to get your thoughts too. I was thinking about this, and we'll save it for tomorrow. If you have time, go back and look at some of the middleweights in the 80s. And I want to kind of get your thoughts on just some of those guys, not matching them up against it's a total. Yeah. But I definitely want to get your thoughts. By the way, the NBA is right around the corner.
It's right around the corner, baby. It's right around the corner. All eyes are on the Los Angeles Lakers again this year. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly, and Russell Westbrook will be taking the court somewhere near you. Let's see what they do this year. I'm a huge Westbrook guy. I'm a Westbrook fan.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The guy plays the game. Everybody want to point the finger at him for these turnovers, this, that, and the third, but he's not a bad basketball player. He's at the, I think he's one of the greatest ones out there in today's game. I want him to get a championship ring. I can't say I'm rooting for the Lakers, but I want to see what they do.
How crazy to think Harden, Westbrook, and Durant were all on the same team.
And if they knew what they knew now, they have 2 or 3 championships right now. Easily.
That changes pretty much the complexion of the NBA.
Absolutely, it does.
Right?
Big time. Big time.
When Durant decides, okay, I can't beat him, let me join him and go to Golden State. Tomorrow we'll do your 5 best games, Brandon's best from our good friends over at spookyexpress.com. So we'll give them a little plug tomorrow. And we got maybe 2 or 3 minutes. We'll start this and then we'll kind of clean it up tomorrow. But yeah, I know if I ask you this, though, if I wind you up, you're going to go. But just keep this in the back of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
The flags in the NFL. The roughing. See, that's what I'm saying. We can save it for tomorrow. But the roughing the passer, that crap is just. I get you want to protect the quarterback, man, but I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's making the game, it's taking a lot away from the game. People are going to say, well, they are big, fast, and strong. They're trying to make it safe, trying to get the concussions out, trying to do this. Well, newsflash, you're never going to get the concussions out of football. It's never going to happen. Either you play the game the right way or you don't play it at all, right? But it's a lot going on with these flags and this, and this protecting the quarterback thing. it's kind of messing the game up,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree. All right, we got to start wrapping up. Tomorrow we'll also do 27 seconds. We got to catch up on that one, number 27. For everyone, don't forget 27nq.buzzsprout.com, the YouTube channel, Amazon Music, Podcast Addict, Apple, Amazon. I mentioned Spotify. We're all over the place, getting some good eyeballs on the YouTube channel. Keep it rolling. Follow Brandon on Twitter at Brandon Jacobs 27, myself at Rich Q on Q. Good stuff with Adrian Granados. See, it started
great interview.
Really great questions, man. And I know you're happy because you got another pro Fury guy. So we have to.
That's pretty easy. I think I'm gonna get that majority of the time.
we got to balance it out. Did you start watching City on the Hill yet?
Rich,
By the time you and your and the
I can't get into it. We tried. It starts off slow, man. I'm trying though. I'm trying. Yes, we started. We sat down. Had some drinks and had the hookah going, and we watched. Man, it's just we sticking with it though. We're gonna stick with it. I'm gonna see what it is.
I got about 30 real quick. What about the mayor of Kingston? You would like that. Forget about City on the Hill. Go to that.
The mayor, you said the mayor of Kingston?
Yeah.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Is it drugs?
What's that?
Is it drugs?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Killing?
Yeah. Corrupt cops.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. I'm going to text you a reminder.
The mayor of Kingston.
Yes. I'm going to text you a reminder.
Okay, please. Yeah, I'm going to watch that shit.
All right. We appreciate Adrian Granados joining us. And as always, we appreciate everyone keeping us locked in. We'll have the audio up. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. Big man, say what you got to say.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Love you. Stay tuned. Hit the like button and subscribe to our page. We'll try to bring stuff to you every week, a couple of times a week, and entertain you to the fullest.
That's what we do.
Go.
That's what, as he says, half the fuckery on this show. As always, Brandon Jacobs, two-time Super Bowl champ with the Giants. I'm Rich Quinones. We appreciate everyone keeping us locked in. Another edition of 27 and Q. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Peace.